Hey, we're back at my favorite place to play golf, Oak Tree National. I want to talk about one of the most spectacular things that just happened. Bryson DeChambeau just won the US Open, but one of the things that you see his technique, you see all the things he does when he swings the golf club, which is single plane, which is so fun to watch. But I want to go on the course today and show you some of the things that you may not be recognizing, some of the things that are maybe you might call idiosyncratic, but a great place to do it is on the course. So we're going to head to the 10th tee and start playing Oak Tree National and show you some of the idiosyncratic things of Bryson DeChambeau. So there's no better feeling knowing that when you wake up in the morning to go play golf, so that you're going to play well. There's no better feeling of hitting good golf shots down the fairway. So my mission today is to help as many people as possible wake up every day feeling good that they're going to go out there and play great because of the single plane swing. Okay, so we decided to head to the front nine. We were in front of the maintenance crew. They don't like me getting in front of the maintenance crew out there. There's like 10 guys that took off to the 10th tee. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is the tension you see in the golf swing. And you know, we talk a lot about things that Moe did that people call idiosyncratic, even though those things that many people term as idiosyncratic, I call biomechanic advantages. And I'm gonna kind of talk about that. But you know, here's the thing. A lot of times the things that I teach are somewhat controversial. They're kind of anti-conventional golf. I don't mean to be necessarily anti-conventional golf, but Bryson is surely highlighting it. You know, many of you never saw Moe Norman play golf, but you know, I played golf with Moe many times. But what you're seeing Bryson do, those things that look different and weird and idiosyncratic, are actually founded in biomechanics. In other words, they're creating an advantage. So I want to show you the first thing that I see that Moe did and Bryson does, which is the tension that he has at address, how much tension he has in his body. Now, one of the things that I don't agree with when it comes to conventional golf is relaxation, and let me explain that. I hear this, and it may be one of the things that I hear more than anything I hear when people talk about the instruction of golf, is that you should be relaxed when you play. So I don't agree with that, and I never have agreed with that. If you look at my channel and some of the videos I've produced, I talk about tension. Let me explain what you see Bryson doing. So you can see I'm here on the first tee, but obviously the single plane swing and Bryson, there's mechanics to this, but what you see him doing is when he hits a shot, you see that he has tension in his body. So you see both arms are extended and he has tension. Now, why do you want tension, right? Why do you want that? And here's why I believe it's the absolutely best way to play, because tension engages the body. In other words, it engages the arms, it engages the shoulders, and and by the way, if you put tension in your body, it biomechanically places the body in a consistent relationship. So now my arms have tension and it has the same relationship to my torso. And so now I've matched up my arm motion with my torso, which then, if I do that, follow me on this, if I do that, it creates a consistent set of mechanics. If I was relaxed, so let's say my arm is relaxed and you're just kind of chilling out here, ready to hit a shot, so many things because of relaxation can start the swing. And the golf swing is a sequence of events. So what Bryson is doing, one thing I love that he's doing, and one thing that Moe did as well, is they have the right amount of tension in their body to create a very consistent, dynamic initial first move. So let me kind of do that here. This is the first hole. I got to kind of make sure I'm lined up. And one of the things I want to do as I take you on the course today is I want to hit some shots, but I also, Bryson averaged 325 yards in distance when he played in the US Open. I would say that I average about 280, 285. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit a shot, and then we're going to go up another 60 yards and play from there, and just see how much easier the golf course plays from Bryson yardages. All right, let me hit it real quick down the right-hand side of this fairway, and watch the way I basically robotically, and we'll talk about that, use tension in my body to execute a shot here. Hit that perfect. All right, let's go see where that one is, and then If we were playing with Bryson, we'll see where Bryson would have been on that. I bet you Bryson wouldn't hit driver here. There's no way he'd hit driver here. He hit it in the water, but we'll check it out. So where I played this hole from here is about 430. There was one tee kind of behind that. That's about maybe 450. I am now, let me measure this real fast, and I'll tell you how far I hit this drive. And it's a little downhill, so it kind of gives you a little advantage. So I'm 130. So, you know, this ball, according to that one, 300 yards. But, you know, I hit it on average probably 280 to 285. I mean, I can get it out there 300 when I'm hitting it, you know, when I get perfect ball flight and those type of things. But on average, just like when you saw Bryson, you know, he hit some drives that were 380 yards, like he did on 16. Then he hit some drives that were 280 yards. Now he's hitting 3-wood off the tee through strategy, and we need to talk about that. We need to talk about strategy, and that's what I do when I bring you on the course. Is I want to talk about just some of the things that maybe you can think about when you play, that now that I'm playing a lot of golf in the last 6 months, I have really been thinking strategy on the course. I hit this drive really well. I'm right down the middle of the fairway. I don't know if I can hit it much better than this. I'm 133 yards to the flag. But in Bryson, by the way, he would have hit it in the water up there. You can see the water. So that's another maybe 40 yards into that water. So no way Bryson would have hit a driver off this tee, because he has a tiny little gap up there. He would have hit an iron, or not a 3-wood even. He would have hit an iron off the tee. So you can see that I don't know if there's a huge advantage on this hole. It's all about strategy on this course, but there is a few holes out here that hitting at 380 yards could be a massive advantage. All right, well, let me hit the shot. I want to talk a little bit more about what I call the robot. So I'm 133 yards, a little bit downhill, downwind. I'm going to give one more measurement. One of the things about hitting good shots is that commitment. You got to commit. You got to feel very committed to the shot. Now, I got 133. This is between a wedge and a non-iron for me. And we have a pretty windy day today here in Oklahoma. And what's interesting about wind, so some people think, well, I'm downwind and it's going to make the ball go a lot further. It's interesting because I'm on the downslope. I'm hitting a wedge. If the ball comes off flat, what I call flat, meaning it doesn't come up with enough spin, I can't carry it as far as I normally can when there's no wind. So downwind's not always super helpful, but I got to commit to the shot. So I am going to hit a wedge. I hit this wedge 125 yards normally. It's 130. I got to fly it probably 120 to get rid of that bunker. But here's one of the things that, as we were discussing Bryson, was the amount of tension that he has in his kind of execution routine. I love that. I call it the robot. And if you talk to any of my students, we talk about execution of shots on the golf course. I call it create a robot when you play. What is a robot? Well, it's when you walk in and you've committed, right? You've committed to the shot and you go to step in to hit it. And basically you put enough tension in your body, you robotically rehearse, and then you execute. You know, why do I like that? First of all, I love little robotic rehearsal. It's the waggle, it's the pre-shot execution routine. But it's basically a routine that gets you to feel the sequence and then execute. It's a 1-2 kind of feeling. Plus, and I know this is going to sound weird, I want to take feel out of the game. Now that's going to sound controversial. It's going to sound like, what? What about chipping? What about putting? Hang on a second. When you execute a golf shot, this is 133 yards, I got a wedge in my hand. The only feel I need in the shot is to make sure this thing goes 130 yards and bounce next to that flag. I need to make sure I execute a good swing. There's not feel in this shot. So that's what Bryson's doing out there. That's what Moe did. It was a point A to point B, execute. He's taking the feel out on these shots. So let me go ahead and hit this wedge and show you that it's a robotic execution of a swing. Yeah, good shot, a little long, but man, I hit that good. But notice how when I got in there. And so what you can take away from this is maybe just the pre-shot idea of, okay, commit to the club, wedge, 130 yard, walk in here, get your line, robot, robot, execute. And that kind of, just think about it. I've taken the feel out because now it's just aim and fire, aim and fire. And I love that idea when you play because you don't want to go to here. The opposite of that would be doing this. You walk in here and you go, oh, I just, you know, relax, just feel good. It's just too much doubt that can set in when you're doing that. You need to walk in there like a robot and just execute the shot. This one flew, it got up in the wind pretty good. It probably flew about pin high, and then it just kind of bounced past it. So once again, downwind, downslope, wind. To me, if you ask me about playing the game of golf, wind is the biggest factor in golf. I mean, people can say, well, you know, in cold weather too, because it affects how you move. But wind to me is the determinant on how strategically that you should play the game. People just take wind, they don't take account wind. In Oklahoma, we play in a ton of wind, so we kind of get used to it. Let's see where this thing hit. Maybe, yeah, it may have just hit off the edge, but anyway, I don't see where the ball mark is. Okay, let's talk about putting. One of the things that I like that I see with Bryson and putting is he's arm locked, and he's basically taking the hands out of putting. So he's basically locking the arms and using the shoulders. So, you know, I'm an arm lock guy. I like arm lock. Of course, I've experimented with many different things, as has Bryson. I think that if Moe would have understood arm lock, he'd have been an arm lock putter too. Oh, is that where it hit right there? See, just barely off the edge. See, pin high. So, yeah, that's where it hit right there. So yeah, it flew 133 yards. And by the way, you know me, when I play, did you see Bryson when he was playing? He was literally had the notepad. He's taking tons of notes. What is he doing in those notes, right? I actually would like to see some of that stuff. But you know, he's strategizing. He's tracking the way his game is playing. He's yardages, angles, all those things that help him play the game. So he's being smarter about the way he's approaching the game of golf. He's using science, and he's a very smart guy. So he's using that stuff, and I love the way he's approaching that. All right, so let me hit this putt real fast, and we'll go to the next hole. Let me just kind of line this up. I got it going a little bit to the left. So just going to basically arm lock it in there. Just roll it up the slope. Bad. All right. But one of the things that to kind of talk about taking feel out of the game, I think that the more, and this is going to sound a little bit maybe too technical, but the more machine-like that you can execute golf shots, the more variability you can take out. And that's exactly what I love about, well, that's why I became, that's why I really approached Moe, because I saw Moe executing a golf swing that was eliminating variables. So I saw him eliminating variability. Okay, there it is. Of the golf swing. So when Moe's eliminating variability, I saw an easier way to play golf. Because just think about this. If you wake up every day and you know that you're going to execute good golf shots because you're like a robot, golf becomes a game of execution. And it's not like I woke up one day and I felt good or I felt bad and I didn't play good. Execution. And that's why I think Bryson's performing so well, is because he really is developing great execution routines where he can play good day in, day out. Let's go to the next hole, and what I want to talk about here, straight into the wind, I want to talk about strategy a little bit. This is a fun hole. It basically wants you to favor right side here, basically straight into the wind. But here, you know, watching Bryson play, and here's what, you got to be careful when you listen to statistics and you listen to what without me sounding too critical, what the conventional golf world talks about, and here's why. Because they were talking about numbers of fairways hit, which granted, look, the fairway for a guy like me who hits at 285 yards, like I want to be in the fairway if I'm hitting a 5-iron, right? I mean, it's going to be more helpful if I'm hitting a shot from the fairway, because hitting a 5-iron out of the rough or a 7-iron out of the rough is difficult. But when you hit the ball the length that Bryson is hitting the golf ball, and a lot of those guys do hit it, really far, that it gives you the opportunity to not care about the fairway as much, because statistically they can hit a wedge out of the rough easier than I can hit a 7-iron out of the rough, so they don't care about the rough as much. Now, I will say this. Pay attention not only to the fact that Bryson was hitting some shots out of the rough, which he didn't care, but he strategized it that way. And what I mean by that is, when I saw him hitting the wedges out of the rough or the shots out of the rough, there was nothing in front of the green. So he could bounce it onto the green and roll up. It's pure strategy. So instead of thinking, well, you got to hit all the fairways, which, I'm a guy that's like, I want to hit lots of fairways because I think it's my strategy is important for hitting fairways. With that kind of length that Bryson has, the strategy isn't hitting fairways. It's having angles. It's about angles into the flags. It's about what is the highest percentage chance of me making a low score on this hole, from 180 in the fairway or 130 in the rough, right? So it's about strategy. That's why I think Bryson's really doing things incredible out there, because it's not just how far he's hitting it. It's not just that he's really playing great. It's that he's strategizing his game well. That to me is some of the stuff we can learn from him. Let's go, let me hit this shot. Aim it to the right here. As usual, I'm gonna line the ball up, the triple track. Now, one more thing that Bryson does execution-wise is you'll notice that he hovers the club. By the time he goes to hit it, he's hovering the club. Moe placed the club behind the ball. Bryson hovers it. Very similar things that they're doing. Why? Because you're not relaxed taking the club off the ground. Your body is moving the club in a direct relationship. So in other words, this alignment with the lead arm is allowing everything to move back together. So I call it locking it in. If you look at my videos, you're locking yourself in. So let me lock this in, and I'll put the club, I like to put the club a little behind the ball and then just hit it. Love that one. Love how low that one was. All right, let me take a quick measurement here and see what I got. .123, okay. Yeah, now look at this. Look at the hole location. So this is, look, here's what I don't like about this shot, which is kind of going to be tricky here. The pin's front left, very close to that bunker on the left. I mean, kind of missing it to the right's okay there. You got a lot of room to the green, but there's a huge slope behind the flag. So 123 to a really tricky hole location. The wind is like crossing me in the face, so it's gonna push the ball everything this way, and I've got the ball above my feet. So this is difficult. And let me see. I mean, it's a wedge. I mean, it's a wedge, but it's just like hanging me to the left. Just gonna go left. These are the kind of shots where I want to kind of hit a low. I want to hit a low kind of no spin shot to the right, just to take something off of it. So it's 123. I'm gonna hit this 9-iron, just to hit the right shot. Then I'll hit this from here, and we'll go up there to where Bryson would have hit it, because this is probably a driver hole for Bryson. But let's take a look. And by the way, this hole is probably about 380 or 390. So I hit this about 260 yards into the wind. We're gonna go see where Bryson. We're gonna go up 60 yards and see how much easier this shot is from there. All right, little 9-iron just to the right side. See if I can't. Yeah, here's that wind. I can feel that wind hitting me right now. All right, so we're gonna try to flight this a little to the right of the flag. I'm aiming right side right now. Wow, that's a good shot. It actually landed on the front of the green and spun to the left, right into the center of the green, probably 20 feet, but that's about as good as I can play from there. All right, let me fix that divot real quick. And you know, club selection too. I mean, club selection on that was 123 yards is a wedge for me. It's a wedge. The problem with a wedge from here is that it's hanging me down, so the face is going to shut. The wind's hurting me, and so a wedge is like, gosh, it's going to have to really fight that wedge. So a little 9-iron choked up, just make a good swing and got it right to the front edge of the green. So I like that. All right, let's do this. I'm going to go up 60 yards. Actually, let's just walk this. I don't got to be behind us. Let me just walk 60 yards up. So this direction, and then let's just put a ball down there. We're going to see how far this shot is. So 123, I'm going to have 60 yards into the green. That'd be fun. All right, here we go. So 60 yards. Wow, 1, 2, 3, 4. Wow. So here's, I think I'm like part way back there. You don't realize how much of an advantage it is to hit it 60 yards further. I mean, I got a sand wedge in my hand. Look at the flag right now. See it? It's just like, it's you know, good players are good with wedges. So I can hit a bad wedge. Here's the thing, I can hit a bad little shot here with my 60-yard wedge better than I can hit a good shot from 123 yards. See what I'm saying? So because percentage-wise, so Bryson's kind of figured out that there's such a huge advantage to distance. All right, I forgot my rangefinder, so I wanted to grab it because I really need to get a yardage here. And one of the things about, okay, so let's see how far I am. That's 60, holy crap, that's way up here. You know, 79 yards. So look, yes, the game is easier when you're this far up. You still have to be good with your wedges, and this is what, you know, kind of the challenge with Bryson is right now, is getting better with his wedges. So let me hit this. This is going to be a full little 60 degree or 58 degree for me, but let's just see how close I can knock this compared to that 9-iron I just hit in there. Yeah, hit it right at it, just a little short. But yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I mean, from this yardage right here becomes pitch and putt, because, you know, I'm sitting here trying to figure out wind. Look, the bunker's not even in play. Nothing's in play here except the flag. And if you give a good player, just come back with me, we got to get the cart. If you give a good player a wedge in their hand, they're going to average about 10 feet. I mean, you want good players average about 10 feet with a wedge in their hand. So you're going to have a lot of 10-footers, and Bryson understands that. So I think that's part of his strategy right now, is like, get as many wedges in my hand as I can, because statistically speaking, that's going to be how, even if he hits bad shots, he's going to be closer to the hole, proximity-wise. So this is where Bryson is creating an advantage. People are looking at his swing, yes. He's done it with the swing. Now he's doing it with strategy. He's strategizing his ability to give himself the highest percentage chance of proximity. And proximity is bad shots getting close to the hole. It's not about good shots. It's about bad shots or having wedges in your hand where your variability is down. That's why he's creating such an advantage in the game, is because he's reducing variables, increasing the percentage chances of shots. All right. I'm going to pick this one up. I'm going to pick Bryson's ball up real quick. All right, knock this putt in. Let's do a little green reading on this one. Got to start working on my green reading here. I think that's one of the things that I'm really enjoying watching Bryson, is just how he's strategizing putting a lot. So he's really working on his speed control. Speed control in putting is such a big deal. All right, let me see if I can hit a good speed on this. A little fast, a little hard. All right, well, it's a good hole today. All right, let's do one final shot here, par 5. This hole is a beast. But I just want to hit a tee shot for you here. And I just want to kind of review for you the lesson of the day, which is the robot, tension, and a little bit of rehearsal, which will give you kind of that robotic feel of executing a shot. I want to do it again. But by the way, if you're enjoying this content, don't forget to subscribe. Give me a thumbs up and make sure you get notified. Click that bell icon so you get notified every time I produce a new video. Don't forget about that. All right, so watch, let's do this. This hole is 585 yards. I've never gotten home in 2 here. It's just too hard. And today, directly into the wind, so you just got to hit a good solid tee shot. That's the thing about wind, is hitting it solid. So I don't swing harder necessarily. I don't swing easier, but I don't necessarily think, okay, got to swing harder. I try to execute my normal swing, hit really good flight on these shots. All right, so watch this. I'm going to step in there. I'm going to show you that we need some tension in our single plane swing, nice engaged lead arm tension like this. And then from that tension, we're going to basically execute. I'm going to do a little bit of robotic rehearsal, robot, and then hit it. And all right, let's just do this. And once you get behind me on this one, and we'll see if we can get a good shot tracer on it. So here we go. Walking in here. Line it up. Get a nice line. Robot. Perfect, right down the right side. Let me do one more. This one. Can you get out in front and I'll show you this. I'll show you the robot from the front angle. The robot. All right, here we go. So watch how the execution happens. So this is where I'm not thinking in there. It's not like a bunch of thoughts going through my head. It's really feel the robot and then execute the robot. So it's pretty technical. I mean, it's pretty robotic is the best way. That's why I call it the robot. But here we go. Yeah, that's as good as I can hit it there. Anyway, just doing that type of thing right there for me, because I don't want, this is what I call the green zone where I execute, and this is really where you want to basically pull the trigger and hit the shot. And to play great golf, you want to be, it's not about feel when it comes to ball striking, it's about execution. And Bryson's doing a great job of executing, and so I want you to start thinking about how you use tension in your address and how you develop your own robot so you can become a better ball striker. Thanks for joining me today.